Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at noon.
New at noon, a lot of people were wondering about all of the emergency vehicles during morning rush hour on I-29 in South Fargo this morning, and we have the answer. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Stanwood. It was a car fire about a mile south of the 52nd Avenue South exit. An SUV was engulfed when firefighters got there. 2 people in the car were able to get out safely. Fire crews say the fire was in the engine in the passenger side of the car. The car, however, is a total loss, and fire officials are still unsure of the cause. Also new at noon, 2 men are being treated for stab wounds after an early morning fight. It happened on the south side of Jamestown. NewsDakota.com is reporting the victims are 2 men, ages 32 and 61. The younger man was stabbed in the chest. The older one suffered cuts. A St. Cloud man has pleaded not guilty to charges related to the death last year of his girlfriend, Casey Joel Schulte. Joseph Greeman is accused of failure to report a death and possession of a controlled substance along with a drug charge. Police say Greeman told them he found Schulte's body in her garage, but did not immediately report it to police. A medical examiner says Schulte's injuries were consistent with a hanging, and police believe it was a suicide. After a foggy morning, blue skies and nice temps greet our afternoon. But what about later? Let's check in with meteorologist Robert Hahn. Robert?
Yeah, a very nice day out there. You'll be hard pressed to find much in the way of clouds as we head through much of the afternoon. Temperatures right now, a mix of some upper 70s and some 80s, and we're going to warm well into the 80s in most locations, maybe even some upper 80s in the far southern valley. Winds light, and they're going to remain rather light as we head through much of the day. In fact, those winds right now calm in Fargo, also calm in the Wadena area. I mentioned the lack of cloud cover, and there you go on the satellite. Hardly a cloud into the sky out there. We're going to see plenty of sunshine today, and that's going to allow us to warm us up quite nicely. And with no clouds out there, no precipitation, and none anticipated as we head through the daylight hours. Tomorrow, though, a chance for some severe storms. A marginal risk for parts of the valley, slight risk as you head towards the far southern valley. And we'll have more on that chance for some severe weather, as well as a look at your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Robert. In election 2016 today, Donald Trump is making big changes at the top of his campaign. Hillary Clinton is bracing for potential Republican attacks after the FBI released notes from an investigation into Clinton's email server. Craig Boswell has the latest from the White House.
Thank you. Donald Trump is shaking up his campaign staff with less than 90 days to go until Election Day. Stephen Bannon, who runs Breitbart.com, now joins the campaign as its CEO, and Kellyanne Conway joins as the new campaign manager. Paul Manafort will remain chairman, but with a diminished role.
And Steve Bannon in particular, he's one of the toughest, most aggressive, most negative operatives in America today. And that signals to me that Trump, rather than softening his approach, is going to double down on being the tough, in-your-face campaigner.
Trump says he doesn't want to soften his approach.
I am who I am. It's me. I don't want to change. Everyone talks about, oh, well, you're going to pivot. I don't want to pivot. I mean, you have to be you.
Hillary Clinton would like to pivot away from any talk about her emails, but some Republicans on Capitol Hill won't let the subject die. Republicans contend Clinton may have perjured herself during congressional testimony at the House Benghazi hearings. They're now comparing notes the FBI handed to Congress Tuesday from its investigation into Clinton's use of a private email server to see if there are discrepancies.
I have nothing to say.
Clinton would not talk about the news during a campaign event in Philadelphia yesterday, but her campaign says it wants the FBI notes made public so Republicans can't selectively leak incomplete information. The FBI warned against that, saying the notes are being provided with the expectation it will not be disseminated or disclosed without FBI concurrence. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
The FBI says it won't comply with Clinton's request to release the notes publicly because there's classified information within them. There's new information in the case of a Fargo man accused of inappropriately touching kids at a Fargo park last week. Cecile Ghali will not face sexual assault charges, but will be charged with disorderly conduct. Ryan Youngren with the Cass County State's Attorney's Office says the context of the case played a major role in the decision. He says after reviewing the photos, 911 calls, and witness statements, Assault charges were deemed inappropriate. Part of the case of a boat stolen in Fargo is solved, but now police need your help to make an arrest. They've recovered the boat, but are still looking for the driver of this pickup. It's a gray Dodge Ram half-ton with a black stripe down the middle. Call police if you have any information. Police have identified a man whose body was found in a home near Mahnomen, Minnesota. 43-year-old John Rock of Minneapolis bled to death after being stabbed. Officers got the call Friday about a man bleeding from his leg, but investigators still need your help. So if you have any information about this case, contact the Mahnomen County Sheriff's Office at 218-935-2255. Some troublesome news for millennials and schemes and ripoffs today. People in that age group seem to be victims of scams more often than the little old lady stereotype that a lot of us think of. The Better Business Bureau says people between 18 and 34 years old tend to take more risks online and end up getting tricked more often. One of the biggest problems comes when hackers get personal information from people using public Wi-Fi too openly. A plan to expand a hog farm in Clay County is moving forward. The Clay County Planning Commission voted unanimously last night to okay the project at Bayer Hog Farm in rural Hawley. The expansion will more than double the number of animals on site. Glendon native Jackson Owings pulled a good one on his mom and dad yesterday. He turned a pizza party into a surprise family reunion when he stepped in as their waiter at Uncle Madio's restaurant. Jackson is a Navy petty officer who hasn't seen his parents since Christmas. He's home for about 2 weeks and is planning some serious summer rest and relaxation at the family cabin. A lot of people will be heading back to the North Dakota Horse Park this weekend for the annual Fargo Food Truck Festival. Be sure to bring your appetite for things like beer, pretzel, cheese curds, fried walleye, and yes, of course, mini donuts. We'll be dishing up the mouth-watering chow Friday through Sunday, and you can get in free on Friday between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Families with kids heading back to school can help stock kids' backpacks with a fun event this week. The Children's Services Department is hosting a school supply bingo. The one today is just wrapping up, but you have another chance tomorrow at the Northport Library starting at 11 a.m.